I've come to discover that stage fright is rather psychological. It's more psychological than it is something that happens because somebody is not prepared or somebody is not ready. They didn't go through his or her notes. They didn't do enough research. I think it's more of a psychological issue than it is something that is caused or resulted by, let me say, lack of preparation. Most times you see people who do not have sufficient foundational training suffering from stage fright and confidence issue. Yes, there are people who suffer a lot of lack of confidence. They go through fright when they are faced with addressing people, when they are faced with talking to people. They can't become good marketers unless they're doing it online, like creating of ads and the rest of that. They can't go on physical marketing. They can't go to tell people things. They can't network. You discover that these people, they have background issue. I'm going to explain. Come down, I'm going to explain. Background issue. They have foundational problem. Yeah, foundational problem. Foundational problem. What I mean by that is, by foundational problem, I mean how the person grew up, where the person grew up, the things the person saw or experienced while growing up. We have lack of opportunities when growing up. We also have the issue of child abuse, like hushing a child or beating a child beyond the child's capacity. You can beat a child beyond what the child can carry. Now, these things can affect a person's confidence while the person grows up. You find children who are quite sharp when they were small. On their way up, when growing up, you notice that they begin to get shy, they begin to become more reserved, they begin to become more introverted. But when they were small, they were kind of extroverts. They make noise, they disturb the neighborhood, they've caused noise everywhere. And you're like, what happened to this child? What went wrong? Check well. Maybe the father used belt on the child very well, or they had to tell the child, whenever the child talks, they shut up. Meet you put on. Why would you say this? Why would you say that? Why would you do this? Why would you do that? In front of people, they would hush the child, they will kick the child, they will beat the child. And when the child does one or two things and, maybe recites what the child learned from school, they'll be like, shut up, enter inside, go inside, do this, do that. When a child goes through these things, the child begins to go into his or her shells. They don't come out anymore. They go back inside, they retreat. And then when the child begins to grow, you begin to wonder what went wrong. This is what went wrong. Some people who stand on stages later on as teenagers, as young people, as old people, adults, that find it very hard to communicate with people, to say things. Some of them did not really have that chance to speak to people when they were younger. Some of them were not given opportunities. You find children who belong to certain families. You find them being sharp, answering questions, being brilliant. It's not about the school they attend, or maybe it is, because the school avails them the opportunity to talk, to sing, to display talents. So when they get home, you're like, what happened? Why is it that your children are sharp? They say it's this school that they attend. Now, there's no difference between that school and your own child's school, except that the child's school avails them the opportunity to express themselves. They are allowed to dramatize, to perform dramas, to participate in plays, to participate in music renditions, to participate in one thing or the other, to participate in sports, to say their mind, to talk things, to answer questions, to think, reason. There's something they call verbal reasoning, quantitative